Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Jay on the Segway. Today's video, we're going to talk about that Dualtron Victor again, all right? So I'm going to go over some things you guys were asking me. You guys were asking me a lot of questions on the previous video that I did. The link to that video is in the description below because that video will have things that this video won't have. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about, follow me, this guy right here, Dualtron Victor. So I just went on a little vacation trip, right, with the Victor. The Victor did pretty well. Now, I only got to ride it one time, right? And this was from Boulder City, Nevada. Make sure I'm saying this right. Boulder City, Nevada to, and so this was each way it was about 9 miles. And so it was 9 miles going downhill. I mean, there was like a 977 foot down there. 970, I think it's 977 foot incline and decline. So I was going downhill, going out towards the lake, and then going back. I had to climb that with the Victor. So I kept the speed around 17, 18 miles an hour, and the Victor did very well. I got back with a lot of juice left, 80 something percent, actually, I think. I'll put it right there. That's how much I had left. And it was pretty good. I was like very impressed because the temperature was like 105, 106 degrees, and it was just straight hot, dry heat. So the Victor did pretty well on that trip. And I want to talk to you guys something real quick about storage. When you store the Victor, these top handlebars, they actually fold, right? Let's show you that real quick. Yeah, let's show you that real quick. Okay, to fold the handlebars, you're gonna loosen these up. These two guys are gonna be pulled all the way back here up against the side. So to unfold them, you're gonna pull them back out, and we'll talk about this later because there's a technique to tightening it so that the stem isn't too wobbly. The stem's supposed to move, period, but it shouldn't move too much. But anyways, you usually grab the bottom latch and you lift up on it like this, and you pull it down, right? Now, these handlebars also fold. And so for you guys who do not own Dualtrons or Victors, I know there's other Dualtron models that these handlebars themselves will actually fold. You have a latch right here, right? I'm just gonna do one side. You pull it inwards, you take that latch, you pull it in, and then this handlebar folds. You don't wanna store your Victor like this with these handlebars folded. Don't store them like that for long periods of time, because what happens is these cables right here, when they're bent, you kind of put stress on them. So maybe to transport it, like if you're going to take it for a ride, it's okay to fold these for extra portability to put them in your trunk or wherever you're going to store this when you're transporting it via vehicle. But try not to leave these handlebars, whether it's this side and this side together or one or the other, don't leave them like that for very long periods of time. At most possible, make sure these handlebars are fully extended as if you're about to go take it for a ride, or the way you would when you're going to take it for a ride. Okay. What ended up happening is I ended up getting a short in my in the switch that turns the dual motors on and off and the turbo button on and off. So the turbo button, that function works fine, but the dual motor setup is kind of finicky now. And I realized I started tinkering around with the cable, and I figured out that the cable where it's actually pulling, when you have it stored with the handlebars bent like that.
Well, that's kind of weird.
It's finicky because it was bent for days at a time. I was on the road for like 5-6 days before I even pulled it out of the back of the car. So just sitting there at that angle and hot temperatures, then it cools off, hot temperatures cool off. You don't know what's inside those cables. So always be mindful when you're storing it, when you're handling it. Another area to look out for when you're handling your scooter is this area. Right here, this is your stem that when you lift your, when you want to put your handlebars up, it tightens and everything. This area right here. So we're gonna go on ahead and put the stem up because we're about to go for a ride, right? We're gonna pseudo tighten these up. When you're tightening these up, this cable and the one on the other side, watch out for those cables, because those cables are also cables that you kind of push and pull on when you're trying to take these two latches and you're trying to tighten them. You know, when you're trying to put them around, you may find yourself touching these cables. Be careful when handling these cables, because you can actually weaken them and pinch something in there, and then you have some kind of functionality wrong with the scooter that's relative to whatever these cables are inside of these little wraps here. And that's probably why they're wrapped, just to protect them. You just want to be careful when handling the scooter, because like I said, these cables are, I guess they're sensitive. Another hot topic on this scooter, and some of the Dualtron motor versions that have tubed tires, is getting flats. All right, now yes, I've gotten a flat my first 20 something miles of riding this scooter. The previous video talked a little bit more into it. A lot of you guys were asking me, did I actually have flat tires with this? And yes, I have. I've gotten one my first like 30 something miles, and then I've got another one a little after 100 miles. Now after the first flat, what I did was I took some tire sealant, right? And we'll talk about tire sealant later. I put some tire sealant inside the inner tube. They come with the whole instructions. They come with all the tools you need to take the stem out of your actual inner tube stem, like the little valve that's in there, so that you can pour the liquid in. So I did that. I poured about half a bottle of that stuff into the inner tube. And then I went on ahead and took my Xiaomi air pump and I pumped it up with 50 PSI. Yes, that's 50, guys. Might seem high to some of you who use like Segways and other electric model. Oh shoot, spider. Always recommended to me after I explained my flat tire to the group on Facebook. They told me 50 PSI. You was probably running underinflated. And this was also in Vegas heat. It was like 104, 103 degrees or something like that. And I had this thing up already 30 something miles. I caught a flat tire within my last 5 miles of a 36-mile ride. And so that's what I did, right? So I'm riding around thinking everything's cool, and I get another flat. But this time the puncture into the tire was actually a big puncture. It was like a big old like nail or something like that punctured the tire. So I had to, at this point, change the inner tube. So I went online and I went looking around. Now I found the inner tube. Look below. You see that right there? That's the inner tube that I ended up replacing the one that the scooter came with. So the dimensions, because I had to write this down. The dimensions for the tire is the inner tube, and it's actually thicker than the one that came with the Victor. It's a thicker inner tube, and so far it's been pretty good. I've ridden about 80 or 90 something miles on it, no flats, not even a slow leak or anything like that. And after I put that new inner tube in, I went on ahead and put some more tire sealant in that, but a lot less. I did, because there was so much tire sealant that was coming out when I caught that second puncture on the very original inner tube. So the link is going to be in the description below to the inner tube that I bought. Now, here's the problem with the inner tube. That inner tube particular, the stem isn't 90 degrees. And what that means is that when you put an inner tube inside these wheels, the inner tube, the valve stem sticks out literally at 90 degrees so that it clears the rim and the actual motor of the scooter. So this one, instead of it being at 90 degrees, I'm trying to simulate 90 degrees. Instead of it being 90 degrees, it was kind of like this. So I had to get some like vice grips and bend the stem to the one that's in the description below so that it was 90 degrees flush, and that way when I actually put it inside of this tire, it sat flush with the, you know, I was able to actually put like the air pump nozzle onto the actual stem so I could fill it up with air. So that's something you're gonna have to do. Like if you guys get this inner tube that I got, this is what you're gonna have to do. But it's a much thicker inner tube, and it was actually physically bigger. And I kind of like that because I felt like with 50 PSI in that inner tube, my ride quality was going to be better because there's more cushion, so to speak. And it will fill the space inside of this tire. It fills it in a lot more better, if that makes any sense. So next thing to talk about, sliders. Yes, these things right here. Are they worth it? Absolutely. So let's get a side profile view of these sliders. What these sliders do is, if you drop your Victor on its side, if this whole side was to just fall over, the sliders are going to protect it. I'll give you guys a quick demonstration. Now there's an angle. There's a degree to how much or how far they go, but you see that? They're laying on the sliders. Last night, I went on a ride with the guys, okay? And one of the guys My boy Wade, he just got himself a Victor. I told him, I was like, dude, look, I don't have any experience with dropping my Dualtron, right? But the guy that I bought my Victor from, the shop that I bought it from, he was like, yo, you want sliders? Sliders are good. If you drop your Dualtron, it will, it will protect the side of or the rim of your board. So I was like, all right, let's get it. So he installed this little, the sliders that I have. My friend last night, and I didn't get this on video, guys. I'm so mad I didn't get it on video. This dude, he went reaching for the brake pedal, and he grabbed the throttle instead, and he already then stepped off the Victor. So when he pulled the throttle, he rides full send all the time. I was like, look, break yourself in, get used to it, get used to handling your brakes and your throttle. Once you build up that muscle memory, then you won't make mistakes like that. It'll be extremely rare, and it is extremely rare. That's the first time it ever happened to him, and I think he has about maybe like 50 miles on his Victor now. So anyways, he pulled the throttle. The Victor went going, it went off like crazy. Don't mind my ashy ass elbows. His Victor fell on its side. Guess what saved it? The sliders. Get you guys some sliders. They're cheap and it's easy to install. You use the original bolts. You don't have to get longer bolts to install the sliders, but the sliders will save the side of your board. This man has the RGB board, like the light board, and guess what? Those sliders freaking saved it. They stick out longer. They stick out more than any of that stuff, and it saved it from getting damaged at all. There's not even a scratch on his RGB lights. So get you some sliders, okay? Now, a lot of you guys asked me about the stem with the creaking and all that good stuff, right? So let's zoom into the stem. Now, I'm not going to take this thing apart. I don't want to do it until I have to. But what you're going to do is you're going to take a number 5 hex key, Allen key, whatever you want to call it. It's the one that fit in here. It is not the T series Allen keys or whatever you want to call them. It is the hex one, right? You take one of them, put them in here, and then you take a 10mm socket or a wrench to hold this back bolt right here. Put the 10mm on that, loosen them up. Take the screws all the way out. What happens at that point is, and I've explained this in the first video, but for you guys who haven't seen it and don't want to click on it, whatever, that's cool. You take this upper handlebar, it pulls up. It pulls away from this entire assembly down here. All this little stuff right here will stay, and this handlebar will lift up. And then there will be just pretend my fist is the bottom part of this steering, right? It goes down in there when you slide the handlebar down in there. And then when you pull it out, it's going to be like a little knuckle, right? What you do is you take Teflon tape. Well, before you even do all of that, right? What you want to do is you want to get you some brake parts cleaner, right? And you want to clean everything out. You want to clean everything out on that knuckle. Remember that my fist we're pretending it's a knuckle, which is the very bottom part of this handlebar stem. You take all that, you clean it off, and you clean everything inside of here. Everything in here, you clean it out. Use microfiber paper towels, use regular paper towels, shop towels, use whatever you got to do to clean it out completely. And then what you do is, remember the knuckle, you wrap that knuckle up like a mummy. Not too much. Use one layer, right? Go around one layer, and then do one more second layer, right? And that might even be too much, but just no more than 2 layers of Teflon tape around the knuckle. Make sure it's very clean. Make sure it doesn't bunch up in any spots. Make sure it's completely flat and nice and pulled, nice and smooth. And then you take silicone spray, right? And you spray that knuckle, and then you take the silicone spray and you spray inside of here. You just shh. Don't get crazy with it. You guys don't need to get crazy with it. Just spray Teflon spray inside of here, and then on the tape. Remember, you mummifying the freaking knuckle. After you mummify it, right? No more than 2 layers. I have to say, guys, once you get that mummified, you take Teflon silicone spray and you spray it, and then spray inside of here, and then put the thing back down. Put this handlebar back down. Now, there's going to be 2 holes. Remember, these screws have to go through the handlebar and come out on the other side so that you can put the bolts on. I mean, the nuts, right? Don't worry about those holes. Drill through those holes. Take those screws and poke it through the holes. That way you don't mess up the tape. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to go through the tape. Just know that, okay? With these 2 holes, they're going to go through the tape, and that's okay. That's what I did, and it's fine. Once you get the tape back on, once you get these things screwed back nice and tight, make sure when you're tightening them, you're going to keep tightening because you want to know how tight is too tight, right? When you're tightening them back, they're going to start to make a metal creaking sound. When it starts making that sound, stop. That's tight. That's too tight. This will last for a while, right? But preventative maintenance on keeping this from happening again is soon, because remember the silicone spray is going to dry up a little bit. The Teflon tape's going to move around as you ride. Remember the forward and backward motion of your handle. It's moving now because I don't have these tightened. But when these two are tightened properly, and we'll go over that, this thing will still move. The handle, the stem will still move. It just shouldn't move too much, okay? I couldn't describe to you how much is too much, but if it starts to make the creaking sound again, you're gonna have to do this all over again with these 2 bolts and these 2 nuts on the back of these 2 bolts, and taking the Teflon tape out and then rewrapping it and spraying with silicone spray. That's just how it is. I don't know any other way, guys. There are other like things you could probably do. You could probably find a clamp system, because this thing creaks because of this crack right here. You see that crack? You see that split? Let me zoom in. All right, this split right here. There's a split on both sides, this side and on the other side. When you ride and this handle and this whole entire assembly moves back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you kind of pull this little slit, you kind of pull it apart a little bit. The way this thing sits in there, it doesn't sit super deep. Remember, it only goes as far as there. You see the little rubber piece right there? This slit, the knuckle that goes inside only goes as far as the bottom here. So this split right here is constantly being pulled left and right as you're riding. And you kind of weaken it. You open it up and it weakens it. So you have to retighten everything. And and they always tell you before you go riding, kind of check certain bolts. Certain things in the scooter gets stressed every time you ride. This is one area. Okay, another mention is the Dualtron 3's rim and tire, right? If you go to the Mini Motors website, they offer a Dualtron 3 rim and tire combo. Okay, so when it comes to changing the actual rim and tire, let's just say you want to buy the Dualtron 3, right? You want to get that Dualtron 3 rim and tire combo. It's going to come assembled, by the way. And remember, the Dualtron 3 is a tubeless tire. So you're not going to have to worry about changing inner tubes and repairing inner tubes and all that other goodies, good stuff. All you got to worry about doing is plugging your tire, depending on the type of puncture you get and where the puncture is exactly. So the Dualtron 3 tire, and I have it at home. I forgot to take it with me, guys. I'm sorry. It doesn't have this thick sidewall here. You see this little extra lip that this original Dualtron Victor tire, because this is an original tire in here and rim setup. You're going to have to disconnect the motor. So before you disconnect the motor, what you do is these two 18 millimeter bolts right here, nuts, you want to take these off. And I usually use a socket wrench with this, obviously, because, you need to get in here. You ain't going to be able to get a wrench comfortably on both of these to remove it. So basically, once you get these two guys off, you got some washers in here. So you want to be careful of how you handle those. And you take this whole control arm and you wiggle it out. So now this whole thing right here is out of your way. Boom, toss in, book it and file it, right? And then you're going to have these guys right here. See these bolts? And these are the bolts that I replaced because they snapped when I was removing them to disconnect the motor from the rim and tire. So once you take these 6 of them, it's going to be 6 of these guys all the way around. There's one up in there. There's one right here. These black ones, and these are stainless steel ones. You remove those 6, and then you'll be able to literally pull the motor and the rim and tire. So you guys got me? You'll be able to move the rim and tire and slide it out this way and throw it away. Take the Dualtron 3 rim and tire combo and slide it right on in, line the holes up, and then screw them back in. Reports on the Dualtron 3 tire versus the Victor tire, because my friend Wade, he ordered his Victor and he had Mini Motors put the Dualtron 3 tires on it while they still had it at their factory. And yes, they can do that. We could talk about that in another video, but that's why I told you guys, Mini Motors, man, shout outs to Mini Motors. And no, they didn't sponsor this video. I'm doing this on my own accord, my own money, everything like that. I just really wanted to show you guys all this stuff. I thought it was important for you. But Mini Motors installed the Dualtron 3 rims and tire combo on the Victor, and they are skinnier. There's a skinnier profile tire, and they are more, I guess, of a street tire versus the tires that the Victor originally comes with that are not the off-road tires. If you don't opt for the off-road tires, it's going to come with these tires, and I guess I could show you guys the way they look. Right, this is kind of the pattern, how they look. They're pretty aggressive. They're a little bit more aggressive than that. I have like 260 something miles on my Victor. That's why my tires is as worn as they are, but they are a very good tire. So I had my friends drive or ride rather, the Victor with the Dualtron 3 tires versus the Dualtron with the regular, you know, street tires that they come with when it comes with street tires versus off-road tires. So my friends told me that they felt that the original Dualtron Victor tires felt more confident, and because they're thicker, they felt more confident going over bumps, on, you know, jumping onto the sidewalks, going off of like a small set of stairs if they were going to do that, which one of them did, by the way. And they said during just riding kind of like under 30 miles an hour, they felt more confident, more stable, you know, more, you know, they felt more stable with the original Dualtron 3 tires. Sorry about the train noise. The street tires that the Dualtron 3 comes with, that he, you know, that my friend had mounted on his scooter, when he jumped off of his Dualtron 3 tired Victor versus my original tired Victor, he said that the street tires were definitely more stable on high speeds. Anything over like 35, 40 miles an hour, he felt that the Dualtron 3 tires were better suited for the fast riding. So if you guys are like commuters and you literally drive your Victor or any of your Dualtron, if the Dualtron 3 tires are actually available to be mounted on your Dualtron, it's worth a shot. I think it's worth looking at. Plus, they're tubeless, and you can just plug the tire depending on the type of puncture you get. But he said that at the high speeds, he felt that the Dualtron 3 tires was better. They were more stable. He didn't get the wobble thing or anything like that. Supposedly, the Dualtron Victor wobbles at high speeds. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm a different type of rider. I didn't feel a wobble. I don't know, didn't feel it, but that's the differences between the Dualtron 3 tire and the Dualtron Victor tire. They both mount up to the motors of the Victor, no problem. Of course, the Dualtron Victor tires does, but the Dualtron 3 tires is more of a street tire versus the tires that the Victor originally comes with. Those tires are more like diverse tires. You can ride them on gravel roads, you can ride them in grass, and they're very good everywhere. You know, like everywhere. But if you do the high speed riding only, then maybe the Dualtron 3 tires is definitely a better look. And if you just don't want to deal with inner tubes at all, the Dualtron 3 tires are definitely going to be, it's just a no-brainer. So I have a tire at home. I'll show a picture in this video of it. Actually, let's do it right now. And that's going to be it for the tires. All right. Now, remember, guys, if I miss anything, is there anything you guys want to know more about? Please put it in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing so far. We're not finished. OK, don't leave. We're not finished. But I want to talk about the brakes in particular, because one of my friends, we went for a night ride last night, and I may post that video up. I'm going to have to put it together and make like a little video of it.
No, listen to me, though. Hey, shit gets weird. You start whiskey throttling. Just like, oh, shit.
He was talking about the brakes coming on too early. Like he didn't like the way the brakes engage. So you'll pull the lever and then the brakes engage and then they engage and then you got this little extra jerk.
How fast the brakes come in?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. But
well, I could set it where it's just straight brakes. It's got electronic braking in it.
It's not.
That's why it's like that. And it's in the middle right now. Like it's 1 through 5, right? And it's on 3. So if I put it at 0. That shit's gonna be straight brakes, gonna be real smooth, but you're just gonna be using all brakes.
I got you.
Yeah, so it's got a little electronic pull to it. That's why it's like jerky like that.
I just wish it came in smoother.
Yeah. I mean, I can make it smoother.
When you're ready to hit brakes, you gotta be ready.
Right. That's why I said. That's why I lean back when I start braking. When I push forward on the handle and I lean back, it makes it a little smoother.
That is what we deal. There's ABS. These scooters have ABS brakes, right? That's electronic, and then they have electronic braking itself. And then on the P setting on the eye controller, the ABS is going to be PD as in Papa Delta, and then the electronic braking is going to be PA as in Papa Alpha. So when you go to the PD settings, you're going to be pretty much messing with ABS, and the values for those are 0 and 1. 0 is off. That's how I ride with it off, and 1 is going to be ABS. Now when you ride with the ABS on, it's extremely jerky. It's really fast, sort of like how ABS in a car or a motorcycle works, or in a semi or any other vehicle that has ABS. But in your car or in your truck, you don't really feel it because it's pulsating so fast that it feels real linear, right? On your scooter, you're gonna feel the pulsating, and it's crazy. And they say that when you have ABS on, it actually like rattles things loose. So you kind of don't really want to have ABS on. Now if you ride in extreme aggressive settings, maybe ABS needs to be on for you. You know, like riding in wet conditions, which these don't have IP ratings, so be a little careful with riding in wet weather with these Dualtrons. Now, when my friend was talking about the electronic braking, he said you pull the brakes, you get brake power, and then you get more power automatically, like more power applies. That's your electronic braking. That's when your Dualtron starts to actually regen energy back into the system. Once it feels brakes applied, like once it feels that you applied the brakes, it gives you more braking power, and then that generates power back into the battery. Very little, nothing much really to boast about, but there is a level setting. So that setting is from 0, I think it's is it 0 to 5. 0 is going to be like off pretty much, and 5 is like your most strongest setting. I ride with mine's on 3. If you guys don't want to feel any of that and you want to work off of pure brakes, go for it. Go to 0, maybe 1, maybe 2. Okay, I have mine on 3. I'm comfortable with it. When you brake, you push your butt out like back. So like, I don't want no homo, okay? But like when you're riding your scooter, you're sitting on it, you're riding. When you want to brake, when you start to brake and you have your electronic braking on, you want to lean back like this to even out. You want to, it like balances out and neutralizes the stability of your scooter so that you don't go pulling forward. Because if you don't lean back like this and you just stand up and you hit the brakes, you're going to naturally lean forward. So to avoid that natural forward lean, my booty show. So I just wanted to mention that because some people feel like something's wrong with the scooter. Nothing's wrong with your scooter. That's your electronic braking. If you turn the ABS off, then everything I just described to you is going to be related to electronic braking. So you can lower it down to 0. And by the way, go to Dualtron. Go on Google right now, right? Minimize this video. Go to Google and type in Dualtron Victor Manual. And I think the second link, click on it. Select what type of reader you have on your phone or your laptop or your computer or whatever, your tablet, whatever you're using while you're watching this video. Select whatever reader you want. Don't click always, just click once. Let it download let it download that file, and that's a much better version of your manual than the one that the actual Dualtron come with. This got pictures on it. It has schematics and stuff like that. So when you want to install like your RGB deck, like that's what I'm going to do, install my RGB light deck. I'll put a video on that when it actually happens. It's going to be easy, like understanding the lingo on how everything works and what you need to set it up, how you need to set things up. And if you need to like do some tests from front controller to rear controller, maybe you think your controller died on the front or the rear. It makes it very, very, very easy. Okay. Basic accessories, and I mean basic, all right? Basic things that you should probably have in your arsenal. For starters, is going to be the Xiaomi air pump. This is basically an air pump in here, and it comes with everything you see here. The air pump itself, this suede bag that is, that it comes in. The suede bag has this little kangaroo pouch. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's all black, so it might be hard to see. It comes this kangaroo pouch, and inside this kangaroo pouch, you have the USB mini charging cable, right? You have the Presta valve extension. It also comes with those little adapters so that you can fill up your basketball, your soccer ball, your football, any kind of ball that needs this long needle thingy here to fill it up. Comes with all this good stuff. So the Xiaomi air pump, you can do bar, you can do PSI, and they even have different settings and a flashlight, right? Pretty cool. And it's actually useful. Like the flashlight points at basically whatever it is you're going to fill air up with. So it's pretty dope. It has a little battery meter to let you know if it's good on battery. It's going to be just either solid white or it's going to flash yellow when it's actually low on battery. So digital gauge. Now what I like about this here is, and I'm not going to demonstrate it because I don't want to mess around with my air pressures on my tires, but what I like about this air pump, and this was recommended to me, is that, and remember, you could do digital. It's all digital. You up and down to change it, and then if you press this little circular rotating thing right here, you basically switch between modes. Bicycle with bar, you press it again, you keep pressing it. PSI for basketball, so it'll change the volume of air coming through it, how much air it's going to push, because you don't want to fill up a basketball too fast, because then you're going to have to air it down if you don't blow it up. So this air pump right here is dope as F, okay? Definitely want to get this. What I like about it, like I was telling you guys before I got distracted myself, is that when you screw and unscrew this, most of the time, almost all of the time, you won't lose any air. They designed it so that it perfectly unscrews away from whatever stem you're actually pumping it up with. This can pump motorcycle tires too, by the way, and car tires. But if this thing is fully charged and you want to pump up a car tire, you might get the tire filled and then it's going to be dead on battery. So always keep that in mind. It's always easy to charge this. You got the USB male, you got the regular USB end, and then the other end is the USB mini. Plug it in, charge it, done with it. So definitely get you one of these. Excuse me as I put the Xiaomi air pump beside this Wildman pouch. Speaking of Wildman pouch, you definitely want to get you a Wildman pouch, okay? Description for that is in the link for that is in the description below. This is the 3-liter model, okay? So yeah, Xiaomi air pump inside the Wildman pouch. Wildman pouch loops around your handlebars up on the top here, and they have the little 2 stem wraps. So Wildman pouch is definitely legit. You have 3 sections. You got covered by the netting. You got 1 section down here. You got this middle part. Actually, it's 4 sections. You have another little netting area down here, and then this back part where I put the Xiaomi air pump. The Xiaomi air pump stays with me at all times when I'm riding the scooter because I have the Wildman pouch. Another thing you want to get, this right here. What's so special about this? The ball tips at the bottom. If you guys who deal with your mirror mud flaps, you probably know that, you know, how useful these things can be, right? These things are long enough, and those ball tips will allow you to wedge your hex key in between the tire and the fender so that you can unscrew those bolts to the fender so you can deal with your flat tube that you're going to need an inner tube for. Inner tube, link to the description of the link to the inner tube is in the description below. Definitely pick you up 1 or 2 of those if you decide to keep the original tires of the Victor. So yeah, we'll put these in here too. Special mention. You see this right here? Your Victor is going to come with this. This is a hex key set. It also has a flat tip and a cross tip screwdrivers type, you know. And also come with this little piece right here, this little clip. So shout out to Dualtron for that. They didn't have to do that, but they did, and it's actually high quality. This will get you by, but that Allen key, that hex set that I just showed you, the little metric one, you definitely want to get one of those. And there's more to it. You definitely want to get the socket set, and I'm going to go buy one after I make this video. You want to get the hex key socket set so that you get more torque distribution when you're actually unscrewing those bolts from your motor. Those actually lessen your chance of snapping the bolts because the way your power, the way the torque is distributed by use of that type of a tool, it actually is a lot easier on the bolts when you're unscrewing them. Speaking of unscrewing the bolts, let's put this in there too. I got spiders and stuff out here crawling all over me. Anyways, yeah, solder gun. Get yourself a solder gun. Why? Let me show you. All right, you're looking at the front wheel, ladies and gentlemen. And on this front wheel, there's a series of bolts on this front wheel. Like this guy right here. Like this guy right here. That guy on the inside, that's still the original bolt. Hate to see it if I ever have to remove it. You got this one right here, so on and so on. Every bolt you see, from the ones that removes the motor from the rim and the ones that open up the motor, which you probably should never need to do anyway, but unless you're one of those like brainiac guys that like to tinker around with the motors, these things are all Loctited. Everything related to heat dissipation and heat coming to it is Loctited. Anything that has anything to do with loosening, you know, parts that needs to be tight and don't need to come loose, is gonna have Loctite on them. So how do you get these bolts out without snapping them? How do you heighten your chances so that those bolts that I showed you guys earlier in the video that you're gonna need to replace these with, because they're probably gonna snap on you, use a heat gun, a solder gun. Basically, the tip of this gun will heat up and you push it. You just press it right on the bolt. You see how I'm pushing it on the bolt, and leave it there for however long you think you need to have it there. This is going to basically heat the bolt and the bolt only versus using a torch. If you use a torch, you can't angle a torch to not heat up everything in this area, because you'll heat everything up within this range, right? With a torch, and even more. Meaning heating up your tire, you're heating up your motor. But if you use a solder gun, you could take the heat and you could place it exactly where you want the heat to be. Which in this case, if I want to disconnect the motor from the rim, would be on this bolt. And I'll just hold this little tip right on this bolt and heat the hell out of this bolt. What that does is the Loctite that's on the other end of this bolt will liquefy, making this easier to take out once you take your tool, whether it's going to be the Allen keys that I put inside the Wildman bag, or if it's going to be the socket, the Allen key socket toolkit that you're going to use, and you just unscrew, or you know, you're going to poke it in here, of course, and then unscrew, and this bolt should come out flawless victory style, Mortal Kombat fans. Another thing you guys want to get, and these are pretty overrated. A lot of people say they don't need them. Oh, I don't need those, I'm good. And you raw dog it. Look, if you're going to ride these things over even 15, even 10 miles an hour, these are the 2 different types I have. I use these when I'm riding faster. I use these when I'm just city slicking, riding slow. 10 miles an hour, 15, 12 miles an hour, I'll use these for just good breathability, and I'll use these when I'm going fast. And if I feel like going like all out balls to walls, which hasn't happened yet, I actually have motorcycle gloves that I can use to wear with that. Get you some gloves. Links to these are in the description below. Check them out. Look around. Don't just buy these. Look at other models. Maybe they have newer models of these. I've had these for a little while now, so check them out. Okay, next winner up. Tire slime. Okay, you do not have to get this specific brand. What I did was, because I like my stuff instantly, if I can get it instantly, is I went to a local high-end bicycle shop, right? I say, yo, where's your tire sealant stuff? They always put little things in the inner tubes on the gravel bikes, mountain bikes, whatever kind of bike, road bikes. They put stuff in the inner tubes to like protect them from small punctures so they're not just stuck on the side of the road. If they were to get a puncture from like a thorn or something like that, those are like petty flats. You know, you get a thorn that punctures your tires, petty. It's like, fuck, I need to keep riding. I ain't got time for this little thorn. You pluck it out, your tire lose air like 1 psi per 5 minutes or something like that until it's flat when you get home. To avoid that, you get you some of this stuff. So for me, I have a local specialized dealer, and I have a specialized bike. I have a Diverge, the E5. It's one of the like the $3,000 one. Anyways, you get you some airlock tight tube sealant. Buy the best stuff you can get. This stuff is going to always pay for itself. It comes with everything you need. You ready? You ready? I'm going to unscrew the top. This is brand new. I haven't done it. Oh, shit. It comes with this tool right here. This tool, when you take the valve cap off your tire, let's say you want to put air in your inner tube, you unscrew the valve cap, toss it, bucket and file it, and you got this tool right here. This is going to take that valve that's inside of that stem. You're going to unscrew that valve out, pull it out, and now the air is just going to come out of your inner tube if you have air in it. And basically what you do with this is, at that point, you take this guy right here, take this top off. This is sealed. You guys can see that? I hope you can see that. Focus. It's sealed. So you're gonna need a knife or some scissors to cut, just cut like that much off. They got lines here to kind of guide you on where you can cut it off at. Cut it, nick that off, and take it and poke it in the hole of your valve stem and pour like this much in. This bottle's full, right? Just pour this much of the liquid inside your inner tube, or inside your tubeless tire if you have the Dualtron 3 tires, and be done with it. That's it. Just be done with it. All right. Take your little red cap. Make sure this red cap is back on. Cover the top. It'll keep the liquid from drying out. Oh man, hopefully I'm not touching it. I touched it, but whatever. It's all good. I'll live. There's even a little tube inside of there in case you need a little wiggle room. You see that? It's got the little clear tube inside of here. So you can take that out and then put that. And you can put that over the part that you just cut from the top here. Put the tube on that, and then take that tube, shove it over the valve stem cover hole opening, and then pour some of this liquid in there and seal your tire up. This stuff lasts the life of the tire, apparently. So basically, any small punctures that you get, and I mean small ones, it can't be like a big old nail come in and out of your tire and think this is going to seal it. It don't work like that. This is just for smaller punctures, little small glass particles that might poke your tire and then poke your inner tube and then make a little hole. This will seal it up. You may still lose like a couple of PSI because remember, the air has to escape for this stuff to go inside the hole that the air is now escaping from to plug it up. Just keep riding, okay? Yeah, get you some of this stuff. In the Wildman bag. Wildman bag's getting a little full, so that's why I got the 3 liter. Trust me, I'm trying to make this video as short as possible. Another thing you guys want to get, I don't have it with me, forgot to put it back on. It's charging actually right now because I put it on charger this morning. It's a headlight, okay? I use outbound lighting lights because your lights is the bomb.com, okay? The headlights that the Victor come with, these are basically like, hey, you see me lights, okay? These aren't lights that you want to use for riding at night. These scooters are too fast. Now, there's a rule of thumb, and I don't remember the exact formula, but they always say for scooters, if you're going to be going over like 20 miles an hour, you need to start with around 900 lumens. Maybe 1,000. This is something that you guys who ride at night, especially, you kind of have to spend money on. Like, you can't get a cheap light. It ain't going to work for you. The light won't project. It won't have enough power to project the light you need for the speed you're going to be riding. So the faster you're going to ride, the more powerful light you need. I use an outbound lighting light because their lights are really, really good. It's also adaptive. What that means is It'll start off really, really bright and it'll slowly dim. And you don't have to use that option. That's just a feature that if you turn the light on for the first click, that's what you're gonna get. Adaptive lighting. So it starts off real bright and it'll slowly dim as time go on because your eyes get accustomed to the light projection and to the light output. So it dims it down just a little bit just to preserve battery life. And it has a cooling vent on the bottom of it, on the front, to keep the light cool. Because, you know, these are powerful lights. It doesn't have a battery pack, the one that I use. It's just all built internal. So when you guys are shopping for headlights, make sure if you can test it, if you can do a lot of YouTube video search on it, maybe even read some articles on the light that you're thinking about buying, you want at least 1,000. I'm going to say 1,000 lumens. I don't even want to tell you a 900. 900 is bare minimum. You're going to have to spend money on this, especially for you night riders. I also just recommend getting a light. Even if you don't ride much at night, just get a light that at least has a strobe function so you guys can be seen during the day. It's kind of important. I mean, you know, you think somebody would see you and they just don't. So don't cheap out on the headlight. Now we're at the end, guys. We're at the end of the video. I think that's going to be all I have for you guys. If you guys want to record while you're riding, I have this DJI. I think this is DJI. I'm going to put the link to the description. I'm going to put the link to this in the description below. This is basically a mount, like a motorcycle mount that you can mount to any handlebar section of your scooter. I couldn't find a decent spot on top of the original factory Dualtron Victor handlebar. So what I did was I got the upper kitty bar. Now I can mount stuff to it. So I got my headlight mount mounted onto that. And I have this little GoPro DJI. I think it's DJI. Yeah. GoPro mount. So I like to have GoPros when I'm recording. That's how you guys see some of my videos. I got these things mounted in different positions. But yeah, that's my special mention. The upper kitty bar. The lower kitty bar will basically mount to these two holes down here. There's two holes down here. The kitty bar will screw. It have two bolts that it comes with, and a screw into there. And then you'll have this bar down there, just a little bit less wide. And you can usually get them with the lights on the side also, which is pretty cool for night effects if you're riding. You can use them as turn signals as well. They flash. They got the steady flash. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it, though, guys. I don't want to, drag this on any further. If there's anything I missed, anything you guys want to know, you guys can hit me up on Snapchat, Jay on the Segway. You guys can just message me here. Yeah, hit me up. Like and subscribe, man. Thanks for watching. I hope I hit everything for you guys. And, yeah, see you on the next video. Peace. Pouch always holds a lot of stuff. I even put a Subway sandwich in here with a regular size drink. Perfect. Put all this stuff back in the car. Go home and edit the video. Upload as fast as I can before I make dinner. Having hamburgers for dinner, by the way, with some potato salad. Yeah. All right, later, guys.